So you've tried out the new Lancer decks, but you still have some questions about how things work, what cards affect them and how, and just no time to test all this out. Well, that's why you have me. Hey guys, Nightfall here, and as soon as we got the new Lancer, I was instantly curious about how certain cards and how situations would affect him. So I've compiled a few questions that I've asked myself to test out in-game to help you hopefully answer those kinds of questions. Dex is a very peculiar Lancer with his clone ability and the things that he can do with it. So my first question when this came up was, do shield cards stack on his clone? So to test this out, I loaded into a custom game with the card Hard Rain activated, and I can confirm, yes, it does stack on top of his clone. And just like with Hard Rain and most other shield cards on a normal Lancer, if you lose it, you can regain it back, either on his main body, if your clone dies, or if you just take partial damage on the clone and don't die, you can still gain it back on the clone as well. Easy enough. The next question I had was, what about cards that stack extra health, not shield? The first card I tested was Health Club and found that the clone cannot get the extra health, and you also just can't pick up a health pack as a clone to get it either. Then I tested out Squat Master, and you might be shocked to learn that the clone does actually get extra health every time you crouch, but if you go into your clone and you crouch a bunch and gain like an extra 20 health or something, and then you recall your totem, you don't get that health added back to your base health, you just go back up to 150 health, or whatever you were at if you were squatting or crouching before you went into your clone. They basically act as two separate characters in this instance, which I think is for the best. Next up is Healthy Stretching, a new card added with the new chapter, and you can't increase your clone's max health, but you can regain health if your clone does get hurt, but somehow you don't die. And the last card I wanted to test here is kind of a combination of both shield and extra health, and that is the Max Overhealth card. So if you pick up a health pack, you'll get the extra 25 health onto your clone. And if your clone dies, you will lose it, but you won't lose extra health. You'll still only stay at the 130 HP when you first made your clone, assuming you made it at 150 health. So that about covers most of the cards that do different things. There are other cards in the game that do similar things, but I think with all of this information, it should be enough to know how those cards would affect Dex and his clone. The next big question on everyone's mind is, can you use your scales to tank a 50 HP shot on the clone? And yes, you can. This makes for some great pushes and a lot of times free kills. So then I started thinking about, what about skill replenish, and how would this affect the health of the clones and future clones that you make if you take damage? So long story short, if you don't lose all 20 health on the clone and you make it out alive and you recall your totem, you do go back to full 150 health. Again, assuming you made it at 150 health, you would just go back to whatever health you were at when you first made the clone to begin with. At that point, if you go and make a new clone, it does start with 20 health again, but you then lose 20 more health. Something else that I found really interesting in doing this is that if you have less than 20 health, you cannot make a clone at all, and you'll get this error on your screen saying insufficient health. Then finally, the last question that I couldn't actually get footage of is, what happens when you destroy his Mimic Totem? So you do take 30 damage and you get a slowdown effect for a few seconds. And this happens no matter what you do. Shoot it, knife it, blow it up with a utility pistol. Any way you can think of to break this totem, it will end up damaging you and slow you down. It doesn't matter if you're on the opposite side of the map and you launch your blaster at it and take it out, you're still taking that 30 damage. Now, yes, this can be annoying for a lot of people, but after some brainstorming on this to have it do the same thing, there really is no way around this. I've toyed with the idea of maybe having a radius on it, but that means that you could just find ways around it. You could just back up really far from it and shoot it and then not take the damage, which would ultimately just defeat the purpose of it being a trap to begin with. I like how it is personally. I don't think they need to change it, but I am curious to know if you have an idea on how they can nerf this. Let me know down in the comments. Also, if you have any more questions about the new Lancer that needs to be tested out, feel free to comment below and I'll either answer it, or if there's enough new questions, I'll make a whole new video. If this video helped, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and I'll catch you in the next one.